This is cover 2 credits ink. We got an ink logo yet?
Oh, we will.
Okay, just check it. Anyway, today we're going to do my first book review, and then I'm going to give you the book I'm going to read for next time. So, today I'm going to be reviewing a Sanderson novel, Alloy of Law. As you know, if you listen to me at all, Sanderson, one of my favorite authors, and he is usually most well known for his exceptional magic systems. Every single book he writes, he comes up with a new and interesting system of magic that are all really cool and well thought out and have all these interesting rules and things. Now, today we're going to be doing Alloy of Law, which is the 4th book in his Mistborn trilogy. Now, the Mistborn trilogy is part of his larger book sort of multiverse called the Cosmere. I don't know how many of you know about it, but basically all the worlds of the Cosmere are sort of, well, basically what's happened is that the original god was shattered into pieces. All of his emotions and things were broken apart and scattered across the universe. And as various people gain power, sometimes they attach a shard of the Almighty to themselves. At least that's the way I understand it. It's all sort of vague. But anyway, but those shards of the Almighty empower these worlds, these separate planets, obviously, in separate solar systems and everything, and give the people on them magical abilities of some variety. Now, in this world, it's all based on metal. The whole thing is metal-based. People can eat and burn metals if they have certain magical powers, and that allows them superhuman abilities. You can, like, if you can burn iron, that means you can pull all metal objects to you. If you can, and then, like, I think there's 8 base metals and then 8 alloys of those 8 metals. Each one has a specific alloy, and you can burn the metal, and then you burn the alloy, and it does something similar but opposite. So, like, if you burn iron, you pull all metal objects to you. If you push steel, then you push all steel objects away from you. Like, that's your power, if you can burn steel. And then there's, like, lead and pewter, and there's some crazy ones like gold that let you control time, and there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. Anyway, aside from all that, that's basically a basic background of the magic system in this universe. Now, as I said, this is a continuation. There was a Mistwalker trilogy where it was sort of a heist trilogy where there's these group of people who are trying to topple the evil overlord, were the first 3 books. And then he wrote this sidelong one, the 4th book, Alloy of Law, which was originally going to be a standalone, but he decided people liked it a lot, and he decided to make it into a trilogy as well. What's interesting about this is the first book was like a sword and horses fantasy, where these people with mystical powers and they're fighting each other and trying to topple the evil tyrant king. It was all, like I said, swords and horses. However, this is hundreds of years after the evil overlords have been defeated and technology has advanced, to the point to where we're basically late 1800s. It has a whole Wild West feel to it. Guns and basic automobiles and stuff like that, and it all has that sort of vibe to it, and it's very, very cool. The main character, Lord Waxilium, or Wax as everyone calls him, was a lawman. He was originally a noble's son, but he left his family because he hated his uncle, and left and became a sheriff in basically a frontier town. Where he met his wife and did sheriffy things. And he's a steel pusher and pretty much a super badass. But anyway, as the story starts, he's chasing down this criminal. The criminal ends up capturing his wife, and due to a series of unforeseen circumstances, you don't really find out what at the time. You probably will later in the trilogy. I haven't read them all yet. I think they're all out. But anyway, he kills his wife accidentally by shooting her. And this, like, breaks him because he really loved her. So he gives up his title as lawkeeper and then goes back to town to where he's going to try and become this noble again. Because, like I said, he's the only heir and he's of noble birth, so he basically runs one of these like giant noble houses. But he's really terrible at it, and he hates doing it because he'd much rather be out, you know, getting in gunfights, because that's what he does. Anyway, so story progresses. He is now trying to be a noble and trying to basically rid himself of all these impulses to go out and play the lone gun sheriff. Doesn't really work out for him. And while this is going on, his family's trying to get him to marry, trying to get him to marry. He doesn't want to. He doesn't care. He still misses his wife. He still feels guilty about her death. All of that's going on. Anyway, finally he meets this girl. Girl doesn't really care at all that he still misses his wife. And girl's name is Steris. And she is from another noble family. They want to get together. But Steris is a bit of a cold fish. And by a bit, I mean a super hilariously cold fish. And she knows it, and everyone knows it, and that's kind of why it's funny. Anyway, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, because I don't know if some of you want to read this book. You should, it's excellent, so I don't want to give the whole thing away. But basically what happens is things progress between Wax and Steris. They're going to get married. They end up going to this party, and the kidnappers come to the party and end up kidnapping Steris and her cousin. And this obviously prompts Wax, who the whole time has been trying to put aside his old lawman days, into finally trying to stand up for himself again and trying to do the right thing. And basically he goes nuts and gets in a huge gunfight. Which is really awesome in true Sanderson style, mixing like the fighting styles. Sanderson's always been really good about the impact like people who can use magic would have on normal fights. In the first like Swords and Horses, it was all sort of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You've got people flying around and manipulating time crazily and like slashing at each other wildly, and it's really awesome. And in this one, he incorporates that into like the gunslinging Wild West style of like fighting, and it's really cool, all the things he comes up with people doing. And like I said, that is why Sanderson's one of my favorite authors, is the way he does his action scenes incorporating technology and magic. He does an excellent job with it. And more comes from this. Obviously, like I said, I don't want to give the whole thing away, but Sanderson does an excellent job with this like conflicted main character, and he's got a bunch of... His friend Wayne comes in. Yes, Wax and Wayne are the two friends, which is a hilarious joke. Marcy, who is Steris' cousin, whom Wax sort of has a thing for, and then there's the whole sort of love triangle thing, but they don't really like each other anyway, so it doesn't really matter. No one knows. And then, like I said, it's all within this Wild West, like, bank robber versus sheriff heist thing, and like I said, it's all very, very well done and very, very cool. And it's the first of a trilogy that I'm probably going to end up checking out soon. To give it a rating, I'm going to say it's an 8, maybe even a 9. I don't think it's quite to 9. I have some beef with the overall sort of plot lines, but probably an 8. So, yes, giving it an 8. And I think that should pretty much wrap the whole story, although I haven't really given you very much. But like I said, excellent, excellent book, excellent fight scenes, very cool characters. Marcy, I don't know how to pronounce her name. But anyway, she's a very cool character. Probably one of my favorite female characters ever, actually. But she's kind of like this quasi-introverted crime geek, which is a very cool character, especially with the time period and constraints going on in the story. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up my review. Alright, time to pick our book for the next chapter, or for our first book review. Now, I had a book I wanted to do, but as Sarah pointed out, it's the 4th one in the series. Probably not the best to start off a new series with. So I'm going to do this book. The Dragonborn Chair. Now, this book is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, Tad Williams, amazing author. I like a lot of his stuff. He's wrote a bunch of stuff. The Shadow March series, he wrote the Bobby Dollar series, which I found hysterical. He wrote a bunch of other stuff too, like a ton of series. Anyway, this is some of his older work. And interestingly enough, this book is what the lore for Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft was based off of, that Blizzard stole completely. So I'm going to reread it, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to make fun of Blizzard, because everyone loves making fun of Blizzard. By the way, they just buy MLG, if you didn't know, which is interesting. So we're going to read this book, Dragonborn Chair, first book of the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series. It's trilogy, because everything's a trilogy. So that's going to do it for me, and we will review this book after I plow through it on March the first Monday. I don't know when it is, probably the 3rd or something. Anyway, that'll do it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you got anything you want me to read on the side, let me know. I do books like novels, manga. I'll even read a comic book if you force me to, but I'll probably make Stairs do it and he'll review it. That should pretty much do it, I think. As always, thanks for staying till after the credits.